There's tshuva before Rosh HaShana. There's a tshuva aseres yemei tshuva. Tshuva aseres yemei tshuva. The Rambam says you have to do tshuva. The Rambam says a person's life is on the balance, and the only way that he can be zoicha between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur is if he does tshuva. So the Mepharshim asks, why can't he? If he's 50-50, let him just do more mitzvahs. You know, a person has to be zoicha b'din. He needs 51% mitzvahs. So if he's exactly 50-50, do more mitzvahs. They all ask the question on the Rambam, why does Rambam say you have to do tshuva? So one pshat there's one pshat, but I just want to bring it out because what we just said, that there's two concepts of tshuva again. There's one tshuva, today forward, I'm okay, I'm doing good mitzvahs. Before Rosh Hashanah, that works, by Shel Risham. Rosh Hashanah is the time, we're deciding in the future we're going to do good. Forget about the past, a new slate, from now on I'm doing good. That's a tshuva. But Yom Kippur is after Rosh Hashanah. Yom Kippur, the year's over. The cheshbon is on the next year. How do I fix up my last year's problem? You know, last year I came out, the balance sheet wasn't so great. We had more aveiros than mitzvahs. So there's a svara to believe that in order to fix up last year's problem, you got to go ahead and do tshuva. You got to get rid of yesterday's aveira. That's already a whole different story. That you have to have charata. You have to feel bad about last year's things. Then you can erase the ava and you can get rid of the aveira. But as far as Rosh Hashanah is concerned, it's sufficient. We don't say chet on Rosh Hashanah. We'll see soon. We don't say anything about aveiros. The whole Rosh Hashanah. The point of Rosh Hashanah is the Kabbalah from now on. The Kabbalah from now on. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It could be the biggest Russia yesterday. If today, from today forward, a new slate, forget about the past. We don't have to worry about it. That's not our cheshbon for Rosh Hashanah. Our cheshbon Rosh Hashanah is what we're doing today. He could be a tzaddik gomer. He has a whole history of aveiros. He'll deal with that. But for today, he's considered a tzaddik.
So this is kind of like if you taking a rabbi for the shul, and he's supposed to be teacher, and you don't have to even ask about his past because he said
you should take him as a rabbi of a shul.
Because he said no, but we said he's a tzaddik.
He's a tzaddik. For today on, he's doing all the mitzvahs. He's a tzaddik.
Brand new birth.
What?
A brand new birth.
Yeah. Now it doesn't mean that in his own neshama he has aveiros that he has to deal with when he gets upstairs, that he has to take care of. But as far as I'm concerned, from today moving forward, now you might tell me, listen, he has a bad track record, maybe he'll slip again. Okay, maybe you have to proceed with caution. But Lamaisa, he's a tzaddik from today on.
So how do we deal with 10 days of tshuva, including Rosh Hashanah?
Yeah, so that Choyim deal with if there's a real, what kind of tshuva. So the Pashat Pshat is, it's a tshuva from today on. It's a Mekana Kabbalah al-Asad tshuva. There's 3 parts to tshuva.
But do you have anything to do tshuva on if it's just starting clean?
The tshuva is to start clean. The tshuva is to say, even though yesterday, I used to do all these kind of things, from today on I'm doing other things. That's the tshuva. The tshuva is starting a new slate. That's the ultimate tshuva. On the sidebar, the Stipler used to say that before someone gets married, you shouldn't even work on tshuva of charata in the past. And I would say today, even for many years until he's a little bit older, we shouldn't work on it. Because a person, today we're much weaker, and if a person starts feeling bad about all the things he did in the past, it's not conducive to growing. It's more important that a person should work on Kabbalah on the future. To work to the future. It's a beautiful tshuva. You pick one thing, you work on the past, to be Yitzhak HaSeris and tshuva. But we have to work on the future. If we get that far, we just work on the next step. We should get our life straight in order. Okay, I just wanted to start on with a little tshuva because we're going to that's the real preparation for Rosh HaShana. We do Hataras Sadarim every Rosh Hashanah. So we do Hataras Sadarim also has the same vein. We're matter in the Darim of the past. We're matter all our the Darim. So going forward, we could go forward on a clean slate. We want to be able to, from now on, for the future, I'm not bound by my past. First has to start Rosh Hashanah, it's a whole new slate. He's not bound by all the things of the past. And,
don't we get rid of the Dorim with Kol Nidre, so with the future, so that we wipe them out before we even did them.
Yeah, so Kol Nidre we say both. We say for the past and the future.
And so, but then we do it again on Rosh HaShana. Rosh
HaShana would just be mounted on Durham of the past.
Well, we've already done it. We did last Kol Nidre.
Oh, no, it doesn't work for everything. The Nedarim that you make for the future is only if you so Shaila, if you remembered about the Kol Nidre before. It doesn't work for all the Nedarim. Still have to do it on the past. I'd like to go into a little bit the Mitzvahs Hayoim, basically on Rosh Hashanah. I know there's a lot of Menhagim, what we eat at night, this. But let's start with the night, just for a few things that come up. When we make Kiddush at night, so there's a minute to eat different peiros, different fruits, as simonim, right? So Chatzkel Levenstein wouldn't have simonim by his Rosh Hashanah tish because he felt it was too lightheaded. It's a very serious time. Someone I used to learn by the grandson of Reb Chatzkel, Bistro Ginsburg. So he used to say that by his father's, he learned in Eretz Yisrael. He went to his grandfather's tish. He says by his grandfather's Shabbos tish. There's one person once made a joke, and he was so upset that he never invited him back again. By Shabbos tish was like our Rosh Hashanah, all year long. But by his Rosh Hashanah, he couldn't think of having simonim on the table. This is a simon for this, simon for that. By him it was like Rosh Hashanah. But nonetheless, it's brought down in halacha. It's simon milsa that we take simonim. It's a sign. Shula has a whole explanation how it works. These things. It's a sign that it should be a good year. It should be a sweet year. It should be in the head. It should be tail. And all these things. It's a simon. But the question comes up: when do we make the bracha? You got to make a bar pia eitz, and we all know in Hilchos Brachas that it's a shaila when you wash and you make a moitzi, and I want to eat something during the meal. So many times you don't have to make a bracha on it. This is part of the meal. So so what happens now when I want to make a bracha on the fruits? So me'ikar adin, anything which is not part of the meal. For example, if it's an apple, you don't eat an apple in the beginning of a meal. By dessert, it's a question. But in the beginning of a meal, you don't normally eat apples. A komplet, you would eat. That could be considered part of the Suda. So if you're eating something like a komplet, that wouldn't necessitate a bracha, you wouldn't make a bar pia eitz. But if you're eating something which is not considered part of the lafas ben as a pas, it doesn't go together with the bread, it's not considered part of the meal, so then you would have to make a separate bar pia eitz. So that's why some people have the minhag to make the brachas before they wash. They make kiddush and then they do the simanim before they wash. But l'maisa, there's a shah you make a hefsek. L'maisa, the olam is like to do it afterwards, after you wash. But you just have to be careful what you're making the bracha on. If it's a pomegranate, or if it's an apple, or if it's something which is separate, you can make a bracha on. But if it's something which is part of the food, let's say a carrot, we don't make a separate bracha on a carrot. A carrot is a vegetable. You eat vegetables in the Suda, so you wouldn't make a bar pia adama on the carrot after you wash. So a person has to be careful what bracha he can make once he washed.
Is it possible to do it before Kiddush?
Not before Kiddush, but after Kiddush, before you wash, some people do it. But that's again, so it depends on minhag. You don't have to change your minhag. You just don't, you make a eitz you can make on these things, and adama is preferable not to make. It depends what it is.
Specifically on Rosh Hashanah, these inyanim, these brachos are built into the system that they are not covered by your hamotzi. Because you have to do a certain order of brachos. And therefore, you
don't have to do the brachos. The ikar simon is not even to eat it. I tell my daughter she doesn't like eating some of this stuff.
The head of the fish.
The point is that the point is it's on the table. The ikar simon is not even eating it. We eat it because it's there. We eat it. But the ikar simon is that it's on the table. That's the simon. The bracha is just because we eat it. We make a bracha. So it doesn't. So something which is mechayiv a bracha by itself. How do you make a bracha? But something not, you wouldn't make a bracha. Shalva shechiyanu. You can make a shechiyanu before you bite the fruit. You can make a shechiyanu, and you can bite the fruit. But as far as the hirotzim, you say for the simon, it's preferable to say it after you take a bite. But the Yevid, if you said it before, it's not a hefsek. But l'chatchila, a person should say it after he eats the food, not before. He makes a bracha, and then he says the hirotzim could be it's a hefsek between the bracha and the eating. So it's best to say it after you take a bite, then you could say the Yiratzin.
We're saying if you don't eat it, you don't have to. You can still say Yiratzin.
If you don't eat it, you can still say Yiratzin. It's not the eating; it's the fact that it's on the table.
Right.
It's a symbol.
You're identifying it.
Right.
Other than the hadama, is there any other one that you shouldn't, the bracha you should not say?
If the eitz is cooked, if it's a cooked apple, if it's something which is cooked in, so like a compound to that, you wouldn't make a bracha even in the beginning.
It seems that the minhag is to say the bracha on the apple first, even though the pomegranate is Meshiva HaMinim.
Chayyim shouldn't.
You
Chayyim should
say
be.
bracha Meshiva HaMinim first?
Yeah, Chayyim should say on the pomegranate first. Shabbos, if he likes the apple, he doesn't like the pomegranate.
So you have to say this brocha, ve-chatima,
Yeah.
and then eat.
Right. Now there's a good child which is shechiyanu. A person should. There's really a person makes a shechiyanu in kiddush anyways. When you make a shechiyanu in kiddush, it's best if the fruit are not on the table the first night, and you don't have in mind the bracha on the fruit, because the fruit is there's two shechiyanus. There's one on the zman of the day, and there's one on the fruit. It's a whole different concept of shechiyanu. So the second day Rosh HaShana, where it's a suffix if we make a shechiyanu during Kiddush, so we want to have the new fruit on the table, the Shasta bracha shechiyanu, so just in case you're not chayiv in Kiddush, the shechiyanu goes on the new fruit. That's the second day. But the first day, where for sure you have a chiyuv to say shechiyanu in the Kiddush, it's best not to have the new fruits on the table, because you don't want to pater your fruit with the shechiyanu making kiddush, because it's a separate shechiyanu. There's one shechiyanu for the day, which is a concept of the zman, and there's one shechiyanu on a new fruit. So it should really be kept. Rabbi Shlomo says it should really be kept separately.
How is it with the women who made a shechiyanu on the nair?
Same thing. So the first day they make it separately, and the second day, when it's a suffix, if you can make a shechiyanu on the day, so then they put a new fruit there and they have it in mind. So then you put it together.
The second night you're only saying one shechiyanu.
That's right.
Kiddush, which also covers the fruit.
Which also covers the fruit.
First night you're saying two.
Right, you're saying two, and when you say two, you should be careful that the fruit shouldn't be there at the time you make the first shechiyanu, so it shouldn't go on it.
So what shechiyanu first day you saying? Which two?
For the day, for the kiddush.
Kiddush shechiyanu, the second one for?
The fruit, the new fruit, if you have one. You don't have to, but if you want to eat a pomegranate to get the simon, then you're going to make a shechiyanu.
So do we?
You don't have to.
What's the interval? A year for Shechianu for new?
It doesn't have to be a year, but if it's a new crop, it's a new something which grows again. Yeah.
Scheiner, why do you need two Shechianus in the first day?
You don't need to, but if you're going to eat a pomegranate or something which you have to make a shechiyanu on, it's a separate shechiyanu. It's not included with the kiddush.
If you don't hold that the food is sufficiently new, I think that's the question as to whether it's out on the stands all the time.
Yeah,
it's not
that's a
really
good
new.
question. Yeah.
So what
if
we
you didn't
told
eat
to
it,
do is to wear a new suit or something, say Shechianu on that.
the oil is noig to say if you haven't eaten it during the year, the oil is noig to say on the new fruit. Yeah, that's a good question. But the Maisa will is to say it if you don't. It's still a new crop.
It was a lot easier in the old country where people didn't see the fruits
That's
first.
right. Yeah. Truth is, a lot of people eat pomegranate juice. Shechiyanu on it.
So this minhag of simanim, Jews believe in this stuff, that this is like, let's say,
Simna milsa, we find it all the time, and the Shloah Kaddish brings a whole explanation why it really works. Simna milsa.
It does work.
Yeah.
For example, like Goyim, for example, they're saying, if you're driving, can a
No.
black cat go through it?
No. The simna milsa that works for us, the fact that we have the new fruit and it's a simon, it's not just a jinx. Just the pshat is like this. The pshat is it's ma'oyer us for a tefillah. It's ma'oyer the concept that we're going to be on top, and when we think this, it has an effect. Our minds, our machshavas have a tremendous effect upstairs. And when we think this, we take out the fish and the head of the fish, and we think Klal Yisrael is all going to be in the head. So this has an effect.
So we not only have to have this on the table, we have to have kavanah and things that
That's
this
right,
is
100%.
and we have to say about this something.
Yeah, well, just this is ma'oyer the machshav. It's ma'oyer the leiv. It's ma'oyer us to think that we're going to be in the Rosh. That's the simon. The fact it's not just a cat walked in front of me. It means this.
Is it better to say the Yiratzon?
I think it was a tefillah. Yeah, you don't have to, some people say the Yiratzon, they don't say the Yiratzon, but the point is to say, look at
That's what the
shame.
Kavanah comes, isn't it? That whether the Yiratzon is where you...
It's easier to have kavanah when you say it out. Yeah.
And is it okay to say it in English if you don't understand it?
Sure, yeah.
Do you want to use the ram's head versus the fish head?
Getting to the tkiyas, And we'll cover a lot of different things here, but it's only one share before Rosh HaShana. Getting to the tkiyas, there's a lot of different minhagim when we do the tkiyas. But it starts in the Gemara. The question is, really midaraisa, we're only chayav to do 30 kailas. 30 kailas means tekiya, shvarim, shvarim, tekiya, right? And then you do it, shvarim, tekiya, and then whatever it is. It's a suffix if it's shvarim trua, if it's shvarim, if it's trua, exactly what it is. But midaraisa you do 30 kailas. And we're noyig to do. The Gemara says, really midrash is less. It's really 9, but we do 30 because we're not sure of shvarim which one shvarim is. So midrash really we have to do 9 tekiya and a trua tekiya, and midrabanan we don't know what a trua is, so we do tekiya shvarim trua, we do shvarim alone, and we do trua alone. To be all the stadim and the Gemara, so we do 30 kailas. But really, midaraisa, all you have to do is 9. But then on top of that, the Gemara says that why do we blow before Musaf? We call it Tekiyas to Miyushav. And why do we blow again during Musaf? We already yaitza. So the Gemara says to mix up the Satan. Now the great debate here in the Scheiner is which Tekiyas are to mix up the Satan. Which Tekiyas are we being yaitza or mitzvah deraisa? And which tkiyas are we confusing the Satan with?
And so far we've mixed up the Jews, right?
Yeah, we definitely mixed up. So one shot is that Rashi seems to go like this, is that, well, the first tkiyas you blow, you yotze the mitzvah. I mean, you made a bracha. And then you blew, so you yotze the mitzvah. And then, finish, it's over with, now what do you do? So now you're blowing again during Musaf is to mix up the Satan. You want to have a good din, you're davening, you want to mix up the Satan. Other Rishonim say no. The Ikut Kiyas, it has to be part of the Malchiyas, Zechroinus, and Shayfus. It has to be part of the Ala Seder. The Tkiyas have to be Ala Seder. So the main Tkiyas are during Musaf. During Musaf, that's the real Tkiyas. And the first Tkiyas is to mix up the Satan. To mix up the Satan, we blow before him to mix up the Satan. Now you're going to ask me a question. 1 second. You made a bracha by the first Tkiyas. And then you're just blowing, practice shot to mix up the Satan, and then you're not yotze till later. But the truth is, you find this concept by Pesach also. Actually, they learn out from Pesach, from Shofar. But you find this concept by Pesach. We do 2 times. We dip karpas in salt water, and then we have more in charoises, right? So we dip 2 times. So if a person doesn't have karpas, all he has is chazeres. All a person has is lettuce, or whatever it is he uses for maror. So the Gemara says he uses maror the first time. So the question is, how should he do it? So he makes a bracha al achilus maror the first time, and he's yotzes mitzvah the second time he eats the lettuce. That's what the Gemara says. So even though he's being yotzeh really the second time, but he has to make the bracha the first time, because how can you make a bracha after you already ate it? So you got to make a bracha in the beginning. So we find the concept you can make a bracha before you do it the first time, even though you're not really being yotzeh till the second time. You can't talk in between.
The first time he's not eating a shear. Can you make a bracha shear do shabbos with some?
Yeah, you don't have to eat a shear for that. So b'chsad mitzvahs.
You have to have in mind.
Oh, you have to have a shear for tomorrow.
No, he's making a bracha al chilus maror the first
I hear
time
you
he's not eating a shear. Pardon?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't know.
You have to have in mind the brachas for the second time.
Yeah.
You have to
So,
have in mind when you make a bracha.
but you have such a concept where you can make a bracha before, and you could do the mitzvah, but you're not being yotzeh the mitzvah until you actually yotzeh later. But since it's the same ma'aseh mitzvah, you could make the bracha before. You have to make the bracha before you start. So it's a complicated concept. The lamdanim could try to figure it out.
And even though you have kiddush in between and all sorts of
Everything in
other stuff.
between, yeah. Kiddush? What kiddush?
After Torah, sometimes they have kiddush after.
Oh, we'll get to the kiddush. We'll get to the kiddush. Yeah.
One question.
Let's have breakfast. We're going to get
After 5,000 years, don't you think the Satan would get charged?
Yeah, it's a good question.
We say that even about not making Rosh
But But the pshat is like this. If this may be the year, he's not taking any risks. In other words, when the shofar goes off, the Goyen says, it ticks off the shofar gadol upstairs. So when Hashem's shofar goes off, that means Mashiach is coming, right? So every year we blow the shofar, Asher Yodim Yodim Chur, when we blow the shofar down here, it triggers off the shofar upstairs. And when the shofar upstairs goes off, it could be a trick, but there's something that gets scared because it might be for real. It's the real shofar going off. So, but so that's the question. Which is the real tkiyah? The real tkiyah, the first one, and the real tkiyah, the last one. So the two sides are like this. Since I make a bracha and I have in mind to be yotze, I'm being yotze with the first tkiyas. Or I have to make tkiyas, I will say to you, I have to do tkiyas with malchus, zechronis, and shofars. Halacha l'mais is not so clear. We paskin, but the bottom line is that we have general in mind to be yotze, however we're supposed to be yotze. So it's the first or the second. But the difference would be, like he's saying, let's say you want to eat in between. Person needs to eat in between. He can't make it through the whole davening. So if he wasn't Yotz's mitzvah, he's a kid. He has to be Yotz the mitzvah the first time. He has to be Yotz the rice the first time. Then he could eat. And then he could. So that's if you eat between the first one and the second one. Shem Zalman used to never eat before the tkiyas. When he got older and he wasn't well, so he had to eat. So he would hear the tkiyas the first round with a bracha. Then he would eat. Then he would go to a later minyan because he wanted to get a bracha again for the second kiyas. Because if you have a hefsek, you're not going to have the bracha for the second kiyas. So he davened early, the next minyan, hear the first round of kiyas with a bracha. Then he would eat, and then he would go to the next minyan and hear the bracha again, and then he would be able to hear the rest of the kiyas. He davened musaf and hear the rest of the kiyas. The olam that's noig to eat before the tkiyas shofar, it's like all things that you're not supposed to eat before you do mitzvahs. So so Shaila, how much you could eat, but the evidence, if a person has to eat, how much you could eat. There's a Maisa Rabbi Moshe. Rav Henkin used to be very upset every year that the yeshivas would eat. The Baron used to be knowing in Lakewood that the yeshiva used to eat before Tkiyah Shofar. Now, just to tell you that they don't finish at 12 o'clock like they finish here. In Lakewood they finish like 3-4 o'clock. Right. So if you don't eat, you're not going to make it. It's a very vigorous davening. But the Baron used to have that they used to eat, and the Staten Island, the Moshe's yeshiva also they used to eat before thing. So Henkin used to be very upset. He would write letters every year. How could you eat? It's mamash a whole letter. It's mamash asa gomer and taka. Many people are makbid on it. So once when Moshe went into Rav Henkin, so Rav Henkin told him, you're not going to Ladar. If you write a letter, nobody should eat. Nobody will eat. So Moshe didn't say anything. But as he was walking out, he said, Rabbi Yisrael Salanta was miyaseh a kiddush. I'm going to go be mevatel it. So.
But isn't it the other side that you're not supposed to fast on a Yom Tov like that?
You could eat before. You could take a drink before davening. There isn't midag a person doesn't eat. He could take tea. He could take something small before. So some people know you could take. Even though normally you don't do that before kiddush, but tzarich hayom you could take a tea. You could take something even if he doesn't want to eat before tkiyas. But Maisa, even if you want to eat before tkiyas, I'm more off the subject I want to talk about. But even if you eat before tkiyas, a person should not eat too much. A kiddush call before tkiyas is for sure also. A person is allowed to eat a kabeya, and a kabeya is allowed to eat. It's called a chilas harai. To eat more than a kabeya is a groiser shaila. If you could eat, if it's passable bekissim, it's a big shaila. If it's a tavshel, you could eat maybe more than a kabeya, depending on what kind of cake it is. But a person should eat just a minimal amount, enough to make ala michya, and that's it. And he was yotza. He shouldn't need to fill himself up a geshmak meal before the tkiyas. That's not recommended. Person has to eat because he can't survive it. It's hard. It's a long davening, and it's very hard to go through. So Avadi should, if he has to.
How we say that, because in Yom Kippur is also a very intense davening, and we survive.
Okay, you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. But
we're told we don't have a choice.
But again, we'll be strong. You still have a vector. The person should daven properly. You still have a vector to have a kiddush. Again, if the davening's over fast enough, there's really a shver atayim. Unless the person's older, he needs to eat, there's no shaila he should eat. We're talking about a person that could eat with, that could make it without a problem, without any issues. So the bottom person needs teachers. You take something, you can pay, you exact a share and make al mechya. That's what he should eat. But to have a whole suda before tkiyas is not pashut at all. Getting back, so the shaila is, which is the ikat tkiyas, the first one or the last one? I want to tell you to the degree that Rabbi Kiva, when they had a machla going on, they had chalaria, I don't know what was happening there, people were dying right and left. And they on Yom Kippur, they made people eat, even those that weren't sick, that they should have. So Rabbi Kiva has a whole tshuva there. And Rabbi Kiva writes about eating before tkiyas. He wants people to eat that they shouldn't have a thing. So there's a whole tshuva that they should make the first tkiyas and then eat, and then afterwards the chas v'sholem shouldn't eat before the first tkiyas. So this goes a long way back to his very sore feelings on the question of eating before tkiyas. But the mice in yeshivas are annoying to eat. Yeshivas are always annoying to eat before tkiyas a little bit, but not to make a big deal out of it. Getting back, so the question again is the first tkiyas or the last tkiyas. So it's a Santa Lomdus he brings down here the Pesach that that even if you hold the first tkiyas on the Ikra Din, and you make the bracha on the first tkiyas, that's the real tkiyas. The second tkiyas, besides being a mitzvah tkiyah, the Rabbanan, Ma'arves Asatan, there's another din. There's Hilchas Tefillah. Our Malchias is Neskabel through the Shofar, Bameh B'Shofar. Malchias Imulafani, Malchias Zuchroinis, and Bameh B'Shofar. So our Tefillah are Neskabel through the Shofar. So therefore, even if you're already Yotzi Tkiyah Shofar with the first one, there's a Mitzad Hilchas Tefillah. Without the davening, we want our davening to go through the shofar. So therefore we have what the malchis, zechonis, and shofars, we have the shofar during the davening. So it's we only do it with tzibur. A person davening b'yochid doesn't have the malchis, zechonis, and shofars in the tefillah. But a tefillah with tzibur, we have the malchis, zechonis, and shofars as part of our tefillah. Our tefillahs go up. It's a hilchas tefillah. Besides hilchas shofar, that a person has to blow a shofar, there's the hilchas davening. When a person is davening, its davening should go through the shofar to our tefillah should be maskabel.
So if someone couldn't be in shul and someone comes to blow shofar for them, do they just blow 30 then? Or just the...
Yeah, just 30.
So that, I think that helps understand that the other...
The yichud could be yotze if you wanted to with just 30. Yeah, right. You don't need to...
By yochid is no din. To the musaf.
Yeah, by yochid we don't do through the musaf. But it's only by din by tzibur. Right. Right. So by yochid there's no halacha. So either way, most people here daven Rosh HaShana, as I imagine. So we don't do tefillah b'lachash. There's another nafkamina. The Scheiner say that really in Musaf you only have to blow by Malchias Tashrat, Tkiyah Shvam Tkiyah, by Zechonis Tashat, and by Malchias by Shofis you blow Tarat. They don't do the whole set. We do the whole set because in case of being Yotze, the Ikar Mitzvah during the Musaf, we do the whole set. But if a lot of Rishonim hold, since the Ikar Mitzvah Yotze the first round, so you do the whole set, so you don't have to do the whole set the second round, you just do one of each. The Maisa, we try to do all Chumas. We try to get all Tkiyas. There's a Shiloh if you're allowed to blow extra Tkiyas on Rosh HaShana. We blow 100 kolos, it's only Safek. And then after davening, some people blow all the hutus and the utus and different and Rashi shitas, it's different shitas how to blow the shvarim. And the Maisa is Makar and Halacha. The Sefer here is Makar and Halacha that they write down the Kesfarim that that Elu ve'elu divil akim chayib. Every suffix we have in Halacha has a source, has a real source upstairs to work. So even though we're blowing it only misafik, but each type of tkiyah shvam trua we blow, when we blow tkiyah shvam trua, we blow shvarim, each one has a source, and if you look in the Kavanas of Ari and others, you'll see that each one stands for something else. So even though the me'ikra din, halachically, in the dry halacha, you only need 9 kolos, and with the rice we do 30, and today we're doing 100, but each of these 100 kolos we can blow because the mother of Sisera cried 100 sounds. Each have a source. It's a source there, and each coil represents a different angle. Call it a different angle. How a big moira the rachamim of Hashem. So each sound has another meaning. We should all be zeicha to understand what each one is. but each one has a different meaning, and when we're listening to it, it's not extra just to be yotze, just in case. Each one is serving his a purpose. Yeah. To understand, I'll just go through what time is it now?
It's 10:19.
10:19. I'll just go through quickly some of the things we do during when we blow. There's a shaila if we do it in neshima achas or shtei neshimas. If you do it in one breath or two breaths, the shvarim and the truas. Right, the tkiyas and is separate from the shvarim. The truah, then the last tkiyah is separate. We take a break, we call tkiyah, it's separate. But the shvarim truah is a question we do it together. Is it in one breath or is it in two breaths? It's a machloikus, and then there's a machloikus. What's called one breath? One breath means what's called two breaths. Two breaths means I breathe in between. Well, two breaths means I have a space in between, like two full breaths. So Mishabur Paskas halacha l'maisa that we make a hefsek in between. Even if we do it neshima achas, even if we do it straight, there should be a small hefsek, less than a breath's worth. So we make a small hefsek in between, less than a breath's worth. But there should be a separation between the shvarim and the truah. The Chazon Ish held you go straight in. Shvarim go straight into the truah. Shvarim truah. It's the Chazon Ish. But the Mishabur Paskas is a small hefsek. Most places I'm like to do all different configurations. The first time they do it with a small hefsek, the second time they do it with a breath in between. Some places do it the third time with a breath in between, the second one. Different ways to do it. We try to get all shittas, but again, the concept is that there's a lot of different mahalchim how to blow, and we want to make sure we get it right. Our Yom Adin is very pivotal, and like the Kuzvi says, it's not enough the person has good thoughts. We have to have the shofar too. We have to do the Maisa mitzvahs. We don't believe just a good heart does the trick. We need a good heart. The person has to do tshuva, he has to walk in with the right kavanas. But we have to do the Maisa mitzvahs also. We're very medactic. To do the mitzvahs properly. So we try to cover all angles.
Even that's part of a good heart, though, to be so concerned about getting it right.
Yeah, I'm just saying, some people think, what's the difference what we do? You know, as long as the kavanah is l'shem shemayim.
Are correct, right? You just described.
Some are more correct than others. But some we pass in halacha, and some we do as a stringency.
All have a source in Shemayim.
Yeah. But it doesn't. But if we pass in halacha one way, that's the way you're going to do. You don't do the other way, even though it has a source. But we try to do the one that's more correct halachically. So if you listen carefully, you hear shvarim truah or shvarim truah. Do it straight. Do it breaks. Different places have different minhagim how to go about to do it. The shvarim also how to blow it straight. Here the minhag is to blow straight. I believe most places here the minhag is to blow straight shvarim. Do. Some places have the minhag to tuhutus, and they're all sourced in halacha. But either way, a person is yotze no matter how he hears it. He's yotze no matter how he hears it, as long as he hears the shofar. Shouldn't be panev. Once he heard the shofar, he was yotze. And it's just that we try to get all ways because we taka one, charedim, where we're nervous, we want to do the mitzvah 100% correctly, so we try to cover all our angles. But,
doesn't it mean that a third of the time, for sure, 2/3 of the time, you're actually doing it incorrect?
That's what I was saying before. That you could think it's halach is only one way, and the other way is you're doing it not right. But since we see there's an inyan to do 100 kailos, so even though it's either shvarim or it's true or shvarim true, it's not all three. We see that etzem, each one is doing something. Each one is doing something. Each sound. Even though of Medina the Gemara, a person is only supposed to do. Only needs to do 9.
Can they kind of like one person do certain amount of, and then another takes over?
Yeah.
You can.
It doesn't matter. Someone else could take over in the middle.
Really?
Yeah. Between the bracha and the tkiyah, it's shred. But after the tkiyah, after you blew a set, so there's no question someone could take it over afterwards. Once you blew one full set.
Or you have to blow one
full set.
I believe, I don't know if I'm saying over the story correctly, but I believe if Gifter used to blow with tells, and when he was getting older, it wasn't going so well, and he blows harder. So someone suggested, there's another about to come, maybe we should take it over. So if Gifter says, maybe he could blow, but the brachas? Could he say the brachas? So if Gifter did the first 30 and someone else did the rest. The brachas you have to do right also, that's just the tkiyas. So that's, shall be Zeichataka to have a Chesima Tova.
Amen.